Seabirds are in trouble. Out of roughly 11,000 bird species on the planet, seabirds are the most threatened group. Arctic seabirds constitute a group of roughly 60 species. Generally, we can say that many of the species and populations shows worrying declines, especially in the North Atlantic.
The Arctic is changing, it's warming. Their preferred habitat is becoming less available and smaller, so they are shrinking, many of them in population sizes. So I am concerned that if this trend continues, that many of them will continue to decline and possibly cease to exist.
A number of factors is contributing to the declining seabird populations in the Arctic. Climate change is one important driver. Disruption of food chains. We have bycatch, competition with fisheries, oiling, contaminants, and we have new diseases coming, like the bird flu, which has hit several populations quite hard. You have direct effects of climate change on seabirds. That might be heat stress, which we can see for some species here on Bjørnøya. And then you have the more indirect effects, which usually goes through the food base. So the prey species that the seabirds are dependent on are moving northwards, or at least moving out of the reach of the seabirds. And here in the breeding season on Bjørnøya, the birds here are dependent on having food in areas that are reachable and at a predictable time. And climate change changed this distribution of prey species, which caused troubles for many seabird species. Then the production of chicks will go down, and also the survival of the adult birds, and the populations will be declining. The birds can to some degree move to other areas, but the problem is that these changes happen so fast that seabirds have problems adapting to the changes. I think the most important thing going on right now is that Arctic species are on retreat. They are kind of forced northwards. So we see that little auk, thick-billed murre, the glaucous gull, they are declining here on the island, while the more southern species like great skua, common guillemot, gannet, they are increasing in numbers and kind of taking over. So there is a community shift going on. I think that's maybe the most important change over these 40 years that we have been working here. And this is a typical example. We saw this glaucous gull kill a kittiwake on the snow here half an hour ago. Then the great skua came and took over the prey, and the glaucous went away. The great skua is a new species in Svalbard, or relatively new. The first breeding record was here on Bjørnøya in 1971, and since then the population has increased, and the great skua is now all over Svalbard and all over the Barents Sea. And it's a dominant species, so the glaucous gull have got a new competitor, and it always gives up the prey if the great skua shows up. Seems like the glaucous gull is suffering this new competitor. Yeah, very often has to give away its prey. He's on his way back to see what's left. Since we started the studies here on Bjørnøya 40 years ago, the weather and the climate has changed quite a bit. First and foremost, it has become warmer, both during summer and winter. The permafrost is thawing, and the effect of that is that ponds dry out or becomes drained. An example here on the southern tip of the island, where we had a huge pond before, now it's just a small part left. In addition to that, we have got much more rain than what we had previous. When we worked here in the 80s and the 90s, we had fog. Bjørnøya is well known for its fog, but we didn't have heavy rain. So that's also a new thing. And it seems like some of the Arctic seabirds, they are not really adapted to heavy rain. They can stand cold, really cold conditions, but wet and cold, that's a problem, especially for the chicks in the nest. Extreme weather events increase the mortality. More seabirds die. So first and foremost, it influenced the survival of the adult birds. This winter we had a mass death of thick-billed moors in Svalbard. Thousands of birds died during January, February. I'm very curious to see if we will measure any effects here on the ledges on Bjørnøya. It seems like there are fewer birds this summer than last summer, but still a bit too early to say.
In the future, I'm quite worried that these Arctic systems will have changed drastically and won't be available for us to visit or observe the way that we do now, that the changing climate will lead to the loss of these ecosystems and these habitats. I personally care for seabirds, not only because I really like birds, I enjoy bird watching, I enjoy working with seabirds, but also because I really want these populations to be thriving, and they're good indicators of how the Arctic environment and the ocean is doing generally. So a happy seabird population could mean a happy environment.
What concerns me most when it comes to Arctic seabirds is the fact that they are under a number of pressures, and these pressures, they are increasing in numbers. So I think that the cumulative effect of all these factors is what worries me most. I think my main concern is if we are able to protect the migration route and the wintering areas, as they are far from Bjørnøya in many cases. So we need to take a flyway approach to conserve seabirds and try to see the whole year, not only while they are here on Bjørnøya. We can collect data or put together data from all the countries. We can look at trends. We can look into what we think are the most important drivers. We can agree on knowledge gaps. Where should we put effort in for the next few years? It has great value in kind of bringing people together and put focus on the threats for Arctic seabirds.
People should care for the fate of seabirds because it's not only about the seabirds, but it's also about the bigger picture.